guys, Bushcraft Rebel. I dragged you out on this kind of gloomy day, and I'm not going to be in the film. You're just going to hear my voice. Talk about fires. One is, of course, fire safety. So this little demonstration is just my three favorite kind of fires. So this is just demonstration person. That's all it is. So we all know you need fuel, air, combustion for fire. May not be using the proper words, but that's okay. So now if you were out, the most important thing of your fire is a good base. I just grabbed some sticks out of the yard. It's what we're going to use as soon as I find the ones I picked. We'll say this is our base. It was just nothing. So now the fires I want to talk about, you can't see me. You can't see what I'm doing. You can see that fairly decent. Today I want to discuss with you guys, this is strictly my opinion, but my three favorite kind of fires. These are not exactly survival fires, but they're different ones. And the first one I want to talk about is the teepee. And if anyone has been in Scouts, they know what the teepee is. Pretty much, we have our base here of logs that we keep our fire up off the ground. And you start this with just making a teepee. Get this rigged up real quick. Find me another stick. We'll use this one. Looks like a good holder. There we go. You start the base like a teepee. Now, you know how you always think you're prepared to do this, but you never are, because there's always something you forgot. So with using the teepee method, you would start out with smaller sticks. And your kindling and stuff would be inside the teepee that I'm going to knock over because it's not standing up. So you will start out with using the smaller sticks first. Pretty much you just work your teepee. I debated about already having these built and then just talking about them, but I'm not for sure. So it's the teepee effect. Now, like I said, this is just strictly demonstration, so if I was doing this in real life, I would have a big pile of stuff in the middle to start my fire. But this is strictly just to show you guys how it's done, how I do it. And inevitably, it's the teepee fire because what does it look like? It looks like a teepee. And then as you get bigger, you'll start putting bigger stuff on. Now, I would call this one good for camping. This is would be my go-to for a campfire. Now, a cooking fire, if you were using something over the fire as a tripod or some form of cooking station over the fire, this would work. But as a survival fire, and you're going to cook right out the fire, all this is going to have to break down. But as it goes, the whole idea of this fire is you start the fire down at the bottom, the flames come up, and it will work its way up. Gets plenty of air, works really well. So this is what is called the teepee fire. Like I said, a good camping fire. Now let's move on to fire number 2. All right, campfire number 2 of the Bushcraft Rebel favorites, I like to call the log cabin. Which, if you played with those, Lincoln logs, I think is what they're called, you would know exactly what I'm doing. Because I think that's where the whole idea came from. Okay, you get your base going. Now I usually use the bigger sticks and I will drop the smaller ones in the middle. and continue with this route. Now, the interesting thing about this fire is you can stack this fire high and just fill it full of debris. And you can put damn near anything in there. This is a fire that will go. But you just want to kind of build it just as I got it here. And you're just building a log cabin, so to speak. Now, the pros of this one is, like when I seen this one used, they were doing a ceremony for the Boy Scouts. Is when I've seen it every time I went as a child. This is what they would build. So for this one, you don't have to use the small sticks on the outside. What you'll do is you will pack the small sticks, leaves, dead grass, whatever, and just drop it into the middle. And then once again, this is a fire that you will start at the bottom and it works its way up. This fire will go for a while. Now, like when I reach my top of my house, what I'll usually do is I'll put me a couple sticks across it, and they'll be big ones. And the flames will lit upwards. Now, I call this one the log cabin. Once again, this is another one if you want it to burn for a while. The other thing you could do in that same situation, if you were having problems, was make a V-shaped fire, which I'll show you that, but it's going to be in small form. So this is called the log cabin. This one will burn for a while. It will keep you warm. You can cook on it really easily. But if you're going to be cooking and waiting for it to go down to a pile of coals, it will take a while depending on how tall you make it. Because I've seen these fires like 3-4 foot tall. And they'll burn all night. And they'll burn huge and produce a ton of light. So, fire number 2, log cabin. If I get my tripod to stay put. Alright, this is another good one. This is what I would call a self-feeding fire. I call it a V-shaped fire. There's many different names for it. So what you'll do is, you have your base, you'll put some sticks up at an angle. And then what you do is, you can start your fire. I don't know what kind of bird that is, but it's making a lot of racket. In the middle. And then you're going to pile these up along the edge. Now, this works better with bigger sticks. Like I said, this is strictly just for demonstration purposes. And this is what you'll do. So the way this works is, as your fire burns in the middle, these logs are going to roll into the fire and keep your fire going. Now, depending on what size logs you have, or depending on what size pieces you need for the outside. Now, I would recommend for your pieces going into the ground at an angle, you would use some green wood. All the animals are coming alive. I think it's getting ready to rain on us again. But this one, you can pack this fire, which, like I said, you'll be using bigger sticks than what I have. I strictly have these just to show demonstration. But I call this the V fire. And what it is you'll have this set up. You'll start a fire in the middle to where it's not hitting your 4 support sticks. And as the night goes on, these sticks on the side will inevitably roll into your fire and keep your fire going. Now, is this 100% of an idea? No, not really, because a lot of things can go wrong with this fire. So like if you were sleeping next to the fire and you had this, I definitely would not have the V's facing towards you. Like if this is the way we had the fire set up, I would be laying on this side. So if something gave away, it would either fall this way or fall this way. It would not fall on me while I'm sleeping. But I call this the V-shaped fire. So we've talked about the teepee, we've talked about the log cabin, and now the V-shape. These are my 3 go-tos. This one does work really well for if you're sleeping outside and it's cold and you want the fire to continue to go. Are there better ideas? Probably so, but these are my 3 fires that I like. So you guys have a good day. I hope this was somehow you learned something from this and you enjoyed the video. And don't forget, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and wait for the giveaway that will be coming up here within the next month. Bushcraft Rebel, out!